Have you ever looked at someone you love and thought, this should be enough, shouldn't it? You pour your heart into them, feel their presence in every corner of your mind, and believe with everything you have that love will see you through. And yet somehow cracks begin to form. Misunderstandings creep in, trust wavers, and the spark that once felt eternal starts to flicker. You sit there, holding on to love like it's a lifeline, asking yourself, why isn't it enough? That's the thing no one prepares you for. Love by itself isn't a guarantee. It's intoxicating, transformative, and powerful, but it's not invincible. Relationships don't just thrive on love. They require effort, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the unglamorous parts of being together. The moments when the dishes pile up, the words come out wrong, or life throws challenges at you that love alone can't solve. The world romanticizes love as the answer to everything, but the truth is, it's just the beginning. Love gets you in the door, but what keeps you inside is a whole different set of skills: communication, patience, forgiveness, and the ability to grow individually while staying connected. So here's the question. What happens when love is tested? When it's not enough to heal the wounds or bridge the gaps? If you've ever felt that ache, wondering why love sometimes feels like it's slipping through your fingers, you're not alone. The real work starts where the fantasy ends. Let's explore that together. 1. Love without effort will always fall short. Love is a spark. It ignites passion, connection, and hope. But like any fire, it needs tending. Without effort, even the brightest flame will eventually burn out. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No matter how deeply two people care for each other, love alone can't sustain a relationship. It's the consistent effort that turns love into something lasting. Effort shows up in the small, everyday actions: listening when your partner needs to vent, choosing patience over anger in an argument, or simply remembering the little things that make them feel seen and valued. It's about showing up for the relationship, not just when it's easy or convenient, but especially when it's not. Love might inspire grand gestures, but effort lives in the quiet, unremarkable moments, the ones that often go unnoticed. It's making time for your partner even when your schedule feels overwhelming. It's apologizing when you're wrong, even if it bruises your ego. It's learning how they need to be loved, even if it's different from how you express affection. The biggest mistake people make is believing that love will do all the work. But effort is what bridges the gap between two people when misunderstandings arise, when life gets stressful, or when doubts creep in. Without it, even the strongest love will begin to feel distant and fragile. Love is the starting point, but effort is the glue. It's how you show that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make every day. 2. Communication is the lifeline of love. No matter how much you love someone, if you can't communicate effectively, the relationship will struggle to survive. Love may connect your hearts, but communication connects your minds. And without that connection, misunderstandings, resentment, and distance can quietly erode the bond you've worked so hard to build. Good communication isn't just about talking, it's about listening. It's the ability to truly hear what your partner is saying, not just their words, but the emotions and needs behind them. It's resisting the urge to defend yourself or win an argument, and instead focusing on understanding their perspective. Because here's the truth. Most conflicts in relationships don't need a winner. They need resolution. Communication also means being vulnerable. It's easy to say, "I'm fine," or bury your feelings to avoid conflict, but that only builds walls between you. True communication requires honesty, sharing your fears, needs, and even your flaws. It's about trusting your partner enough to show them the parts of yourself you usually keep hidden. On the flip side, effective communication also involves creating a safe space for your partner to open up. This means being patient when they struggle to articulate their feelings and avoiding judgment when they share something difficult. Love can't thrive in silence or confusion. It needs clarity, empathy, and openness to grow. Communication isn't just a skill, it's the heartbeat of a relationship. When you master it, you give love the foundation it needs to flourish. 3. Trust is built, not assumed. Love might bring people together, but trust is what keeps them there. Without trust, even the strongest love can start to feel fragile, uncertain, and incomplete. And here's the thing, trust isn't something you just decide to have. It's built brick by brick, through consistent actions, honesty, and reliability. Think about it. Trust is the silent agreement that your partner will show up for you, not just in the good times, but when it matters most. It's about believing their words align with their actions, that they'll protect your vulnerability, and that their love for you isn't fleeting. But this kind of trust doesn't magically appear. It grows slowly, nurtured by every small act of integrity. Trust is also about transparency. It means being open about your feelings, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about admitting when you've made a mistake instead of hiding it. The hardest part? Trust isn't just about them being honest with you. It's about you being honest with yourself. Are you keeping promises? Are you showing up fully in the relationship, or are you holding back? And yes, trust can be broken, but it can also be rebuilt. It takes time, effort, and patience to repair what's been damaged, but it's possible if both people are willing to do the work. Love is powerful, but without trust, it becomes a constant battle with doubt. Build trust slowly, protect it fiercely, and watch how it transforms your relationship into something unshakable. Compatibility is more than chemistry. Love often begins with chemistry, that undeniable spark that draws you to someone. It's exciting, magnetic, and makes everything feel effortless at first. But chemistry alone isn't enough to sustain a relationship. Compatibility, the deeper alignment of values, goals, and lifestyles, is what determines whether love can truly last. Chemistry can make you feel like you're meant to be, but compatibility asks the tougher questions. Do we want the same things out of life? Do we handle challenges in ways that support or clash with each other? Are our values aligned when it comes to family, career, or even how we handle money and conflict? These aren't romantic questions, but they're the ones that will make or break a relationship in the long run. The hardest part is accepting that you can deeply love someone and still not be compatible. You might laugh at the same jokes, feel electric in their presence, and genuinely care for each other. But if your visions for the future are wildly different or your ways of handling life don't align, love will start to feel like a constant compromise. True compatibility doesn't mean you agree on everything or live identical lives. It means you can coexist in a way that feels natural, where your differences complement each other rather than create tension. Love might bring you together, but compatibility keeps you moving forward in the same direction. It's not about finding someone perfect, it's about finding someone who fits where it matters most. Conflict is inevitable, but how you handle it defines your relationship. No matter how deeply you love someone, conflict is bound to happen. Disagreements, hurt feelings, and misunderstandings are part of any relationship because you're two different people navigating life together. The question isn't whether you'll argue, it's how you'll handle those moments of friction. Conflict can feel threatening, especially when emotions are high and it seems like your love is being tested. But here's the truth. Conflict isn't the enemy. Avoiding it, suppressing it, or handling it poorly is what causes the real damage. A healthy relationship doesn't mean never fighting, it means fighting fairly. Fair conflict is about staying respectful, even when you're angry. It's about listening to understand, not just to respond. It's resisting the urge to throw blame or use hurtful words that can't be taken back. When you approach conflict with curiosity, why does this matter so much to my partner? What are they really trying to tell me? You transform arguments from battles into opportunities for growth. Conflict is also a mirror. It shows you your partner's needs, triggers, and insecurities, as well as your own. The way you navigate these moments can either deepen your bond or create cracks that grow over time. Love doesn't mean never disagreeing. It means choosing to work through the hard stuff together. When handled with care, conflict becomes a tool for building trust and understanding. It's not about avoiding storms, but learning how to weather them together. 6. Independence strengthens love, not weakens it. It's a common misconception that love means merging into one inseparable unit, doing everything together and always being each other's first and only priority. But the healthiest relationships are built on a foundation of independence. True love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means growing together while maintaining your individuality. When two people enter a relationship with their own passions, goals, and sense of self, the bond becomes richer and more balanced. Independence allows you to bring your best self to the table, your own experiences, perspectives, and energy. It creates a relationship where you complement each other instead of relying on the other person to complete you. 7. Consistency matters more than grand gestures. Love often gets portrayed as a series of sweeping moments, the surprise trips, the grand declarations, the once-in-a-lifetime gestures. While those can be beautiful, they aren't what sustains a relationship. What truly matters is consistency, the small, steady acts of love that happen day in and day out. Consistency is what builds trust, creates security, and keeps love alive long after the initial spark fades. It's remembering to check in on your partner's day, even when you're busy. It's making time for them, even when life feels chaotic. It's showing up, not just physically, but emotionally, when they need you most. Grand gestures might make your heart race, but consistency is what makes your heart feel safe. Without it, love becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds insecurity. Think about it. Would you rather have someone who buys you flowers once after a big fight, or someone who makes you feel valued and appreciated every single day? Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You won't always get it right, and neither will your partner. What it does mean is effort, making the choice to prioritize the relationship even when it's not convenient or glamorous. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't fade. It's what keeps the bond strong when life gets tough or when the excitement of new love settles into routine. Love isn't about the big moments, it's about showing up in the small ones over and over again. That's where real connection lives. 8. Forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. In every relationship, there will come a moment when you're hurt, whether it's by a careless word, a broken promise, or a moment of misunderstanding. And in that moment, love alone won't be enough to bridge the gap. That's where forgiveness comes in, not as a one-time act, but as an ongoing practice. Forgiveness isn't about excusing bad behavior or pretending nothing happened. It's about choosing to release the weight of resentment so that you and your relationship can move forward. It doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean things instantly go back to the way they were. Forgiveness takes time, effort, and often healing. But most importantly, it's a decision, a conscious choice to let go of the grudge that keeps you stuck in the past. Holding on to anger or disappointment might feel justified, but it's a heavy burden to carry. It drains the energy you could be using to rebuild trust or deepen your connection. Forgiveness, on the other hand, frees you. It allows space for growth, Not just for your partner, but for you too. Love is messy, and mistakes will happen. But forgiveness is what gives love the room to breathe, to heal, and to grow stronger than it was before. The real secret to love that lasts. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Love isn't a destination, it's a journey. Messy, beautiful, challenging, and constantly evolving. We walk into relationships believing love is the answer, only to find out that it's the beginning of an even bigger question. How do we keep it alive? Maybe something in these lessons resonated with you, an argument that replayed in your mind, a moment of distance that left you questioning, or even a reminder of a time you chose forgiveness over pride. Or maybe you're realizing for the first time why some past relationships didn't work out. Either way, here's the question I want you to sit with. What have you learned about love, not from the highs, but from the lows? Because that's where the real work happens, in the spaces between the joy and the conflict, the passion and the patience. Love isn't just about how it feels when it's easy. It's about what you do when it's hard. Let's make this a conversation. What's the hardest lesson you've ever had to learn about love? Did you grow from it, or are you still navigating it? Share your story in the comments. It might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if this sparked even a single thought, if it made you pause and reflect, hit the like button so I know we're on the same page. Better yet, subscribe, because this conversation is far from over. Here's why. We're all on this journey together, trying to figure out love, life, and the spaces in between. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we stumble. But what matters is that we keep learning, growing, and showing up, not just for others, but for ourselves. One last thing, ask yourself this. Am I loving with intention, or am I just going through the motions? That's the real challenge, isn't it? Love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. A choice we make every single day. So, let's keep choosing wisely. Drop your thoughts below, subscribe to stay connected, and let's keep unpacking this wild, beautiful thing called love. Because the journey doesn't end here, it's only just beginning.